Hello friends, welcome to the Azure Data Factory lecture series. In this series, we will learn how to perform copy data activity from SSMS SQL Server database into Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2 using Azure Data Factory. On the left hand side, see this is my SSMS SQL Server Management Studio on-premises database, and I'm going to copy my data through the cloud over the Azure SQL Server or Azure ADLS Gen2. So let's see how we will perform the ADLF copy activity, how I'm going to load data using the Azure Data Factory, and let's see how this entire process is going to take place. So first and foremost, I'm going to show the part where I had this data set. Can you see this is my SQL Server, and this is the SQL Server name, and how to connect the SQL Server name? You can see this is the property of my SQL Server. So I'm going to connect the SQL Server uh, through my ADLF. So for this I'll have to create so first and foremost, you can see this is the uh, this name is or my server name. This all these are my database name. You will be requiring all these database name. Here you can see if I go to the connect part, so here I can see this is my login name, and obviously you must have your password ready. So I'm going to use this password 3. So let's make sure this trust server certificate is connected. So I'm going to connect this one. Can you see it's giving the correct credential over here? So I'm going to minimize this part as of now. What is the next part for us? The next part is I'm going to connect the I'm going to instances for the data factory. So here you can see this is the ready copy data activity where I had just performed the copy data tool, and this copy data tool will be showing the relevant output. Can you see currently it's a succeeded? Why it's a succeeded? Because I just provide the source. Inside the source I just provide the SQL Server database, all the connected services, all the connected integrated services, and the like triggers and pipelines. And then if you go here, you will find that all the integration runtimes are already there. All the if you go to the manage tab, you can see link services are already there. Here I have created two link services. First link services for blobs storage, and second link services for SQL services, like copy data from like data like fetching data from SQL Server on premises to the cloud, then cloud to the then second link services I require for cloud to the this one to pour on to sync on the ADLF Gen2 data storage. So for this, before performing this data activity, let me show the output here. And if you go here, the output topic, can you see this is the data read here? I'm going to show all the data read here. So you can see here, right? Also, if you go here to the data Azure portal, here, if I look at the Azure portal, go to the home, show the blob storage. Actually, it's not blob storage, it's ADLF storage. The name is the blob storage. Go to the container section, go to the output, go to the OP, and here if you open this DTF file, it's showing the edit, and it's showing the same ID, std name and marks, which is same here. You can see ID student marks and 1 Sachin 50, 1 Sachin 50, 2 Rahul 505. So 1 Sachin 50, 1 Sachin 50, and 2 Sachin Rahul 5. So entire data set I just copied from my on-premises SQL Server to the ADLS Gen2. How we are going to perform this task? Let's see. So first I'm going to copy. First I'm going to create. Let's go from the scratch. First I'm going to create home, create a data factory. So it's already there, but I'm going to create the data factory again. So I just click on the data factory. If you have free service, kindly select the free service tool here. If you have paid service, kindly select your paid subscription. So I'm going to create the resource group. If it is already there, so I can create this one. So I can create the RG underscore Sachin underscore 2024. So I'm just creating this data resource group name. For create data factory, so I'll have to name this data, or just simply df Sachin underscore 2024. Then I'm going to select the particular region. Okay, so it's not accepting underscore, so I'll have to remove this underscore. Just keep the df Sachin 2024. So I'm going to create the select the respective region. You just select your region so that your bill won't be occur at very large scale. So I'm going to click next. So because I'm not going to change any setting from here, so I'm going to just click next all the settings by default. Just click next, review and create. Eventually you are going to review and create this part. Here I'm going to create, I just created this Azure Data Factory. Meanwhile, it's going to show development in the processing. So you can see this is now completed very quickly. Otherwise, it takes 1 to 2 minutes. So you just launch the Launch Studio. Click on the Launch Studio. Inside this Launch Studio, you can see this one this will open your Data Factory portal. So now I'm going to open this. This is your Data Factory portal, and I'll have to make one data storage also. So I'm going to create the data storage account. I'm going to select your paid subscription and the resource group Sachin 2024, which we just created, and I'm going to create ADLF Gen2 Sachin 2024. So I'm going to select the region name as usual and going to select the next, and make sure you just enable hierarchical namespace, which is the ADLF Gen2. So it's going to show that hierarchical namespace is complemented by data lake storage Gen2. So I'm going to enable this part because I do not need blob storage, rather I need a ADLF kind of data storage. So I'm going to keep all these settings by default: networking, data protection, encryption, tags, review and create. Everything I'm going to keeping by default. So I'm just creating here. It will take again some time. Let's go back to the Azure Data Factory. Meanwhile, it's going to creating my ADLF storage account. I'm going to create this part. Just click on this manage. Here you can see this is showing auto resolve. So we are not going to auto resolve. Auto resolve is used when we are moving cloud or ADF to, or from Azure to Azure services, or inside the Azure only. But here we are moving data from on premises to the Azure services, Azure SQL, Azure Blob Storage, or Azure ADLF in this scenario. So I'm going to create a new integration runtime. I'm going to select the Azure self-hosted this time because this is the self-hosted, not Azure is taking responsibility for all the parts, but I'm going to perform all the data flow and data movement here. So I'm going to create continue self-hosted, use this running activity on premises. And click on continue. Now you will have to provide the integrated runtime name. So I'm going to provide SSMS to ADLF. So this would be a logical name so that I can keep remember while selecting this integration runtime. So I'm going to create this part. All right, so here you can see you are going to take two options while selecting this SQL Server, while fetching data from on-premises SSMS. So first one is used to launch the express setup for this computer. Otherwise, download the install integration runtime. Here you just click. I'm going through option number 2, which is manual setup. So I'm going to click on this download and install option. Can you see it's going to install it's going to lead my mix with this Microsoft.com. Here it is Microsoft integrated runtime software. I'm going to click download. So I'm not going to click download, which is already there in my system. So I can show here. Can you see? This is integration runtime exe file. If I open this file, you just click on this file and you can run in your system. So you can run in your system, and if you want to see what is the process, so you can see this one is the process to perform this part. All right, here you can see I just opened this page where I just can see step by step to install Microsoft Azure Integration Runtime. So here, once I'll click on this software, here it will show this setup page. I'll click on the setup here. I'll click on the I accept check marks, click on the next, and click on the destination folder, and click on the install. And once it is finished, then it will ask the self-hosted key. How would you find this key here? Which key you will have to need copy and paste? Can you see this key is there? You just copy this key and paste it here in this area. Then click on register. You will be navigating this page. So this will be the finish. Click on finish, and then you will see this remote area access part, right? You just click on finish. So you just clicked on finish. You will find this integration runtime self-hosted node has been registered successfully. So I'm going to show that part where I had just successfully connected. Here you can see this is successfully connected from my SQL Server. How would you check this part? Can you see this is the diagnostic part? Third tab, you can select this SQL Server, give your SQL Server name, click on the database, click on the basic, click on the essay, and click on the test. So for me, it's going to show fail. That's not required, but for you, this would be connected after some time. If you click on this connection in every time, right? Maybe it's sometimes it's showing fail due to server error or something, but if it is connecting at the ADF part, that's fine. You can go ahead with the copy activity. Now I'm going to show the self-hosted node which is connected on the cloud service. I'm going to minimize, don't close, because it's establishing dialog from your SSMS SQL Server to the cloud portal. Now I'm going to copy this part. Just click on this one, close this value, and if I'm going to close this one, so this is not connecting, right? Reason being, this is not the actual one. If I show the another ADF, that will be actual, that will show the actual data factory, right? Now if I, okay, so it's not showing, but if I show the previous data factory which is having the active value, so you will find it is showing the correct output. I'm going to close this one. Can you see this is the copy data activity which I created here. All right, now I'm going to create this blob storage. How to create this blob storage? I'm going to create this for example, I'm going to create a new data set here. I'm going to create SQL Server, this one. I need to select this one, continue link service. I'm going to select the SQL Server, not this SQL Server is the integration runtime, not the auto resolve. So this integration runtime is success there, and if you can see, this is showing all the tables, person, purchase table, laptop, and model, and everything here, right? Let me show this all these tables here also. Can you see this is the Azure table here, all the tables. Here you can see all the tables are there inside the search and database, and all the respective tables are also showing here. Can you see if I show the table names, all the tables are also showing here. So I'm going to import the data one table here. If I just select this data table, and you can enter the manually also the schema and the table name. So I'm not going to perform the enter, which is the secondary part, but as of now I'm going to select the automatic table name. Click OK. I'm going to select this server name, click OK. So you will find this is establishing connection between the new data sets, right? So this is the SQL Server data set. So I'm going to rename this part. This is the what? This is the SSMS to Azure. So this is the SSMS to Azure. So I'm going to rename this part. This is the first data set which is having this part. If you show this test connection, it must be successful. Can you see connection successful here, right? I'm going to create the new data set which will establish dialog between the between the Azure, between the midpoint part to the, which will sync the data from mid part to the ADLF. So I'm going to select this ADLF. I'm going to select this part, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2 this time, and going to select this text file. So I'm going to click OK, and this time I'm going to select the link service blob storage, right? So here I'll have to create the blob stage or storage also. So how would I create this part? So allow me to show that sequence also, right? So here I am at the main Azure. So I'm going to create the new storage. So this will be new storage. I think I had created this one. Can you see I just created this ADLF blob storage. If I click on this containers, so I do not have any container right now. So what I'll do, I'll create a container here. So let's say sync, because I'm going to sync the output here. So I'm going to create sync. Inside this sync, I'm going to create a directory here. So sync underscore directory. So I'm going to select this second sync. All right. So this data set which I'm porting from the SQL Server SSMS on premises, I'm going to import or fetch that data set in here. This is the location. This is the sync location. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the author. Here I'll create the data set. Here you can see this is showing the data set here. Or if I refresh this part, I'll find the data set here, right? So maybe it's not the correct data factory. Yes, this is the correct data set, right? So I'm going to create the blob storage. So if I click the, okay, so I'm going to create the back, right? So ADLF. So I'm going to create the delimited file, and this time going to select the blob or storage link services, and this time going to select the path. So can you see, okay, this is showing the link service. So cancel, discard, right? So I'm going to create the new data set here. This time I'm going to select the data lakes, Azure data lakes. Continue. If I select the link service, so I'm going to create new link service. So this link service would be ADLF home ls underscore. So I'll have to click the select my Azure subscription. I'm going to select this Azure subscription here, and then Azure SQL name here. So I'm going to select the Azure SQL name, whatever the storage name here. So if it is a success, so it will show the connection successful. Here you can see it's a successful now. So I'm going to create this part. So if I click this link service here, so this will show my output and the link service. Okay, so let me show. This one should have this way. Here you can see I just created a new link services. The name of this link service is IRDC. I'm going to cancel this part. So I'm going to create from the scratch. So just click on the link service here. Select the ADLF Gen2. Click on this one. So name it link service ADLF underscore Gen2, and this would be the sync part. So I'm going to give the conceptual name here. So I'm going to select the Azure Circuit subscription. So this would be the Azure account name. Can you see this is the same account name which we created inside the Azure portal. So AGF Gen 2 Sachin 2024. If I show this part here, can you see this is also showing this part? If I click on home, if you can see, this is the ADLF Gen2 Sachin 204. Inside we just created the container, namely sync, and inside this we had sync directory. So I'm going to navigate the same container here. This is the storage account name ADLF Gen2, and if I check the connection, test the connection, it's a successfully. I'm going to create this part here. Once it is create, make sure you remember the name of this link service. I'm going to click author and click on this dataset, new dataset. This time I'm selecting the ADLF Gen2 because my sync type is ADLS, not the SSMS. Previously we selected SQL Server, which was here. If you select the SQL, so this was previously we selected this one, but this time we are selecting a data lake storage gen2. So this would be the CSV file. So I'm going to click on continue, and let's say the name of this services. So for example, sync data. So I'm going to select the ADLF Gen2 sync, which we just created, and going browse the folder name. Can you see this is the sync part? Inside the sync, we just had the sync directory. I'm going to select the sync directory, and that's it. Click OK. We do not have any name, so it will create the name, or you can say the name here. So I'm going to click the output.csv. So this would be the output name. I'm going to first row as header. Yes, you can click on this one checkbox. This would be the first, this will depict first row as header. So I'm going to click going to establish connection store, keep all the settings by default, click OK. That's okay. So this might be some problem in this. All right, so I'm going to create new database. There was a problem in that previous file, it was showing error. So I'm going to click Azure Data Lake ADF continue, and then I'm going to give this output storage and select the link service ADLF Gen2. Here I just need to none. Previously I was showing the from connection store. If you will select from connection store, it will show the error. So I'm going to select the none and going to select the sync and sync directory here. So just click OK. Here you can see it's showing none. So click on the none here. So now that's it. So this is the output storage. So if you know that this is the SQL Server, this is the blob storage, or this is the SQL Server table where we have the SQL Server schema. And if you import the schema, this is showing the input size, right? And all the parameters are showing, column names are showing here. If you show the output storage, this is showing the all the necessary where I will paste or my file, right? Now I'm going to create the pipeline here, create the so this one is the sync where I'll paste my data set. This one, so I'm going to storage this one, close and discharge. This one is the out storage, this one my schema, and I'm going to close other tabs so that we can have clarity where we are going to copy data, and in this through this storage data set I'm going to paste at the server part. Now I'm going to create the pipeline, new pipeline. Inside this pipeline and just create a copy data activity. I just pasted this copy data activity from the source. I'm going to select this source. What is the source here? Output storage. Oh, sorry, server, because we had the SQL Server. If I want to show the preview data, can you see it will show the preview data because connection is already established. Can you see it's showing all the records or the data frame from the SSMS. It's the same as here. Can you see ID, strings, and marks? So I'm going to show you. All right, here you can see the same data is depicting here. So I'm going to select this was the showing preview data. I'll show these options in in another video, but right now I'm going to sync this part. So this would be the blob storage where, or the output storage, where I'm going to paste my data set. So can you see it's showing the copy behavior and everything is showing here, right? So I'm going to perform debug this part. If it is showing any error, it will be that part, it will show that error. If it is succeed, that it will show succeed here. So you just keep refresh whether it is success or not. If this activity is status is success, you can see this is the success part. This is successfully pasted your data set from SSMS on premises to the on data lake storage. So you are migrating your data from the hardware to the pasted there. Can you see it's now succeeded here? If I show the output, can you see it's showing all the data set here? Now go back to the basic tools where we had. So this is the sync. If I refresh this part, this is the sync directory, and here you can see this is the dbo.data.point. If I show the edit point, can you see it's showing all the relevant data set? This is how we can paste our data set. We can move our data set from this SQL Server SSMS to the cloud. So by fetching this data set, you can perform all the activity from one side to the another side. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this call. Thank you.